All right. So this is our first video on this channel. We're gonna try to make it as fun as possible. We're just gonna go through some social media. We're just gonna be reacting to some videos, and I'm just gonna be giving my opinion on a couple different things, and you guys can let me know what you guys think about some of the things that I go over, and we're just here to have a bunch of fun. So let's get into it. All right. So a lot of things have been going on right now. There's a war going on in Iran. There's war in Ukraine. There's a lot of things going on, in the gaming industry with, politics and gaming and things like that. There's a lot of different things going on right now. There's fraud going on with some of the things that are going on with that, with, daycare, hospice, stuff like that. The economy. I'm actually in Vegas, so there's a lot of things going on in Vegas currently right now. So we'll go over a bunch of different things, and we'll uh, we'll just get started, and we'll see where this takes us and where we go with it. All right, so first thing we got here is looks like they're talking about Stephen Miller says the scale of welfare fraud is so massive that eliminating it alone could balance the entire federal budget. The amount that has been fleeced from U.S. is in the hundreds of billions of dollars. We could balance the federal budget if the only dollars that Treasury went to individuals who are properly, lawfully, correctly eligible to receive them. This should infuriate every taxpayer. Yeah, the fraud is bad, and that's your money as an American taxpayer that is going to that. So, I mean, you should be upset that your money is being taken through fraud, hospice fraud, or, daycare fraud, or whatever programs that people are scheming and frauding. That's something that you should be mad at, because every time that you see taxes taken out of your check, anytime you pay taxes, that's where your taxes are going. It's going to fraud, and actually it's one of the reasons why healthcare is so expensive. So if your healthcare is really expensive in your area, well, you might want to consider if there's a lot of fraud in your town, in your city, in your zip code, in your county, wherever you live, in the state you live in, and you might want Nick Shirley to come there. All right, so let's see what they have to say.
And the amount that has been fleeced from us is in the hundreds of billions of dollars. I believe, based on what I've seen and what I've heard, is that we could balance the federal budget if the only dollars that went out of the Treasury went to individuals who were properly, lawfully, correctly eligible to receive them. And that ultimately is going to be what we have to do as a country. In the meantime, because of the Vice President's leadership, you are seeing the most muscular, robust, aggressive, dedicated, determined, and speedy effort to shut down criminal fraud that has not only ever occurred in the history of this country, but in any developed nation. So thank you. Not abiding by our laws.
Yeah. So the fraud is really serious. That's honestly why one of the biggest reasons why the economy is the way it is, why healthcare is the way it is, why rent, why your mortgage, why housing is the way it is. It contributes to pretty much everything, So be mad that your taxes are going to fraud, and I'm glad, personally, I am glad that they have started a task force, and it seems like, they've arrested a few people. They actually arrested a lady in Minnesota. I guess she was like the ringleader or whatever they said. And yeah, I'm actually, I saw that, but I'm not actually sure what happened. I think she got 41 years in prison for being the ringleader of the fraud scheme over there in Minnesota. 41 years is a lot of time. That's a lot of time. I mean, if I was doing fraud and committing fraud, and I just heard that somebody got 41 years, somebody literally just got 41 years, I would I would probably be rethinking, my decisions, and I'd probably, if I wasn't even legal and I was an immigrant in the country and I was committing fraud, yeah, I'd probably be packing my bags. But as an American, I think that we shouldn't allow this stuff to happen. That we should be talking more about it, making people aware that there is fraud. And me personally in Las Vegas, I'm sure that there is fraud going on here. I'm sure that there is things happening here in Vegas that um, we haven't been made aware of yet, or like in Minnesota or California, like some of the other states have. But I'm definitely sure that there is fraud going on here. I have heard, of some stuff here and there. I'm not gonna say exactly what I've heard, but um, yeah, I know there's definitely fraud here too, just like anywhere else. That's honestly why health insurance here is ridiculous. I've heard people paying, for I think a dad was I heard a dad and two kids, they were paying like $800, $900 a month for health insurance, and that's ridiculous. Like, bro, who can pay that? I don't know who can pay that. Let's see what else is going on. What is this? Tristan Tate comments on the ongoing investigation into Hasan Piker over conspiracy activities against the U.S. government. Hasan Piker had a lot of shit to say about me. And what's his defense now? It's a government motivated political attack. I thought they didn't exist. Okay. Well, you know, whatever you guys want to think on that. Elon has gained some appreciation for the hardness of this task. Okay. Yeah, Elon Musk. You guys can always go on next and listen to that. So, what I'm hearing is that Hasan Piker literally just got subpoenaed. Let's see what this video has to say.
But it's so strange because like this is not even beneficial for any of these people, right? It's not even beneficial. And they don't get it. They don't understand it. Like, who is this for is the question. Is it for you? Is this helpful for you if I go to fucking prison? No. It's not. But it's so strange because like this is not even beneficial for any of these people, right? It's not even beneficial. And they don't get it. They don't understand it. Like, who is this for is the question. Is it for you? Is this helpful for you if I go to fucking prison? No. It's not.
Well, I mean, Hasan Piker does say some pretty crazy stuff. And I probably wouldn't say some of the stuff that he's saying. As far as I know, he supports groups that, aren't pro-American, let's just say. And as an American, I don't think that's right. I think that if you're supporting groups like that and possibly, saying other things about other people that aren't true, then, yeah, it's probably not going to go too well for you in the long run. And a lot of people aren't going to like you for very long. I seen this about Rick Ross, and yeah, it doesn't matter. The USA will get a nuclear dust created by our great B-2 bombers. No money will exchange hands in any way, shape, or form. This deal is in no way subject to Lebanon either. But the USA will separately work with Lebanon to deal with the Hezbollah situation in the appropriate manner. Israel will not be bombing Lebanon any longer. They are prohibited from doing so by the USA. Enough is enough. Thank you, President. All right, yeah. Why isn't Dennis Prager Christian? Financial understanding is relatively sparse. Okay, yeah, whatever. If you're a real estate investor in New York City, it's time to sell.
And for buildings that have action to, when necessary, we will take aggressive legal action to remove negligent owners and property managers. And for buildings that have suffered chronic neglect, we will work to transfer ownership to responsible stewards. Stewards that include community land trusts, nonprofits, or even the tenants themselves.
Honestly, just get out of New York. That's all I gotta say. If you're still in New York at this point, if you're literally still trying to hang on to New York, it's done. It's over. New York is it's done. People want to say this and that about, oh, it's a big city, you know, tourism, you know, it's if they got a mayor like if they got enough people to vote in a mayor like Mamdani, New York is done. Get out of there. Get out of New York while you still can. Let's see what we got here. Tom Segura, the one thing about January 6th that still disturbs him over 5 years later. Here's what's fucked up. For sure, there were government people that were rabble-rousers. There were people that were trying to get... Alright. Whoops. If Iran surrenders, admits their navy is gone for resting at the bottom of the sea, and their air force is no longer with us, and if the entire military walks out of Tehran, weapons dropped with hands held high, each shouting, I surrender, while wildly waving a representative white flag, and if their entire remaining leadership signs all necessary documents of surrender that admit their defeat, the great power, the force of magnificent USA, the failing New York Times, the China Street Journal, corrupt, now irrelevant CNN, and all other members of the fake news media will headline that Iran had a masterful and brilliant victory over the United States of America, and it wasn't even close. The Democrats and media have totally lost their way. They have gone absolutely crazy. Like that's ever gonna happen. You see, Iran isn't gonna just surrender like this, okay? They're just not going to. The people that are in power still in Iran are basically the exact same people that they killed. They all think alike. They all think the same. They're all the same people. It's like nothing's gonna change over there because they bombed the top 5 to 10 leaders, and the next 5 to 10 leaders are gonna take over. What do you think they were doing? Who do you think that they think like? They literally think the same as those people. So I don't know what that situation is, but gas prices right now in Vegas, depending on where you go, are about $4.80 to about $5.70. You know, depending on where you go, but that's about, you know, basically your average is about $5.30. So, I mean, that's what gas is like in Vegas. Before the Iran stuff, gas was about $2 and no, my bad. It was $3.70 before the Iran war. But now it's like $5.30. In some places it has doubled, or not doubled, but it has gone up $2. And so basically, if it goes up any more than it goes up now because of the war, there's going to be some serious issues in Vegas. Traffic has seriously slowed down. Like, there's not a lot of traffic. And people are really saving. They're not going out as much. All right, let's see what else there is there. All right, well, this Saturday, I guess there's a fight night. That seems pretty cool. Gavin Newsom's state budget includes $33K portrait of himself. Haha, looks like a Lear painted. Oh man, there's no way that that's a painting of him. That's a painting of him. It has to be. The New York Post, they put it. Has to be. That's horrible. That's a horrible painting. It's a whole different person.
We have enough. We could do this, but it's going to take some reimagining of what America is, what our economic system is. What's clear is it's not working and it's not sustainable.
Actually, when our founding fathers set this up, they had the national motto of e pluribus unum, out of many one.
Yes.
And we've never achieved that.
No.
There's a long time we didn't even vaguely even strive for that. But
No.
we can still strive.
The vision of America, the promise of America, we still have that. We have that promise in our DNA. Someone slipped that in there, which creates a possibility for it, right?
I can't even listen to this anymore. So, I don't even know what they're saying. They're not really even saying anything at all. Reimagining of what America is. They're literally not even saying anything, and they're just actors. The opinions of actors should not be taken seriously. Exactly. And look who's posting to Patrick Bet-David, double dumb. Yeah, exactly. They're some of the dumbest people. They're probably getting paid to say whatever they're saying, and I don't even know what makes a person think that way, but they have way too much money. That's probably what it is. Susan lived as an evil, dangerous sociopath and died relishing in that legacy. Stanford medicine study shows why mRNA COVID-19 vaccine can cause myocarditis. Former YouTube CEO Subin admits to pulling over 1 million COVID videos to silence anti-vaxxers. People died because of... Whoa. Former YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki admits to polling over 1 million COVID videos to silence anti-vaxxers. That's crazy. Let's go ahead and watch that.
Vaccines, vaccine hesitancy, videos that cause a public health risk. Where do you want to see YouTube do better?
Well, first of all, we've taken responsibility very seriously. It's been one of my top priorities, and with regard to COVID and with regard to vaccines, that has been a top priority for us. And we have a number of different ways that we address that. So first of all, we want to make sure that if there's information that violates our policies, we came up with 10 different policies around COVID. Then if that's a violation of policies, then that's something that we'll remove. We removed over 1 million videos associated with COVID.
Have you talked to the Biden administration at all about vaccine hesitancy or vaccine misinformation?
Okay, let's hear that one more time.
Associated with, we removed over 1 million videos associated with COVID.
Have you talked?
COVID.
One more time, just in case you guys didn't hear that.
Information that violates our policies. We came up with 10 different policies around COVID. Then if that's a violation of policies, then that's something that we'll remove. We removed over 1 million videos associated with COVID.
Have you talked to the Biden administration at all about vaccine hesitancy or vaccine misinformation?
Well, we did an event actually with the Biden administration, including President Biden himself, with a number of creators, Fauci as well.
I wonder if there's anything that you see in, the way that anti-vaxxers behave on the platform, if there are any data or insights there that could be helpful to people understanding where
Sorry, guys.
they're coming from.
I mean, we try to understand what are the different ways that we can break through. So we talked about in this campaign that we did about getting back to the things that you love. So what we really tried to do was get.
Okay. So over 1 million videos were taken down during COVID to silence because of misinformation by the former YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki admits to pulling over 1 million videos of COVID videos to silence anti-vaxxers. That's crazy. That's crazy. They were trying to silence the people that they considered misinformation. Take a moment to think about that. Because that in itself changed history. Imagine how the pandemic would have been handled, how everything would have been if none of those videos would have been silenced. Imagine all those videos, over 1 million videos that were removed. Imagine they were allowed to stay on. What would have happened then? How would the pandemic played out? That's something to think about. It really is. When politicians allow fraud to run rampant, normal Americans suffer. Yeah, again, the fraud. They're really, really, really trying to hit the fraud because honestly, we don't even know how big the fraud is. It's billions and billions and billions of dollars of fraud. And that's your taxpayer dollars. Imagine your taxpayer dollars being sent to other countries to support terrorist groups. That's literally what's happening. That's literally what's happening with your tax dollars as an American. Imagine that. Imagine that. When you go to work every single day, you're supporting, you aren't, but your tax dollars are supporting terrorists. That's crazy. That's crazy to think about. And it's crazier that it's actually happening. Oh, check this out. So Daniel Cormier is talking with this guy. On today's episode, I'm joined by Carlos Prats. They spoke a little bit about his fight with JDM and also talked about what he thinks could be next, whether he believes he should fight this champion Islam right now, and what a fight between. So he knocked out Leon Edwards, and he also beat Madalena. So he's coming up right now in the UFC, and he's actually doing really, really good. So y'all watch out for him. Let's see what else we got. Just a man waiting on the 007 for a slide down. Yeah, okay. What else we got going on here? Lex Friedman is hitchhiking with truckers in China using ChatGPT translator. Looks a bit sketch, but seems to be having a good time. Candace always thinks Elon Musk is an alien. He probably is. Who knows? Andrew Tate's for cutting off Sneeko immediately. Nick finally said it. Fuck that brown clown.
Both, when they spent time with him. The two biggest idols in his life, me and Ye, both cut him off. The two biggest idols in his life, both, when they spent time with him, had to cut him off. There's a common denominator. Because the actions he undertakes, the snakery, the sneakiness, the constant betrayal, that's why he finds himself in the position he's in. Even the few friends he has left, he's constantly warring with, insulting, trying to make content about in a negative way. It's his problem, it's not our problem. But I think it says a lot that both Ye and I had to cut him off.
You know, I don't know what is going on with him, but yeah, he's I really don't know what's going on with him. He's making a lot of enemies, and he's probably not. Honestly, I don't know what's up with Sneeko. He's I mean, why would you base your whole career off of a name like that? That's just first of all, because it's like people are gonna immediately, you know, identify you with your name, and your name is Sneeko, and I mean, it looks like they gave you opportunities and they gave you chances, and you just kind of threw them away. So honestly, what do you know? Sneeko really doesn't know anything, and so he grew up on the internet. I mean, in life, he literally got beat up by Sean Strickland. Yeah, going to go get beat up by Sean Strickland, wow, great. Wonderful. But at the end of the day, it's like, what'd you do about it after? Are you still going to get beat up? What are you going to do about it after? Nothing. Because you lived your life on the internet. Guy in the grocery store films expensive frozen pizzas in the freezer aisle and asks genuine questions. Honestly, why would someone buy these when you still have to take them home and bake them instead of just going to Little Caesars? Some folks depend on cheap hot pizza. Who cares? Justin, Ilhan Omar is flat out refusing to turn over documents to a Minnesota committee investigating the 250 Somali feeding our future fraud. She is knee deep in the scandal, and DOJ needs to go after her hard. Do not let her get away with this. Yeah. Ilhan Omar is definitely complicit. I think that they're going to figure out the fraud, and it goes even deeper all the way up to her and Tim Walz. And honestly, my opinion on Tim Walz is, how did that fool get elected? That fool's a straight retard. Tim Walz is a straight retard. I don't know how that fool got elected. And then what else do we have? We have her, Ilhan Omar. She is definitely knee deep in the fraud too. But I mean, what can you do? I mean, she's gonna have to go, you know, in front of a court and probably testify and prove that she's not guilty, because they're probably finding more and more evidence about her being connected to the fraud every single day. Deadline day for Omar to turn over docs to Minnesota CMTE. Yep. Nick called and okay. Whatever. Joe Rogan visits me to serve as Tom Segura brings up Uday Hussein, who was the most evil man to ever live. Zionism is absolutely amazing. It's banned speech and to say otherwise. Here's what happens when a Zionist group goes against any anti-Zionist Christian pastor. Literally all of them do that. Ted Cruz, just filled my tank in Texas. Gas is $3.99 a gallon. Hey Gavin, the problem isn't Chevron. It's California's stupid energy policies. That is true. I think that California is most likely going to have to get worse before it's going to have to get better. This is my opinion. I think the people there need it to get worse. They need higher gas prices, and they need things to be even more expensive. And they've been voting for it, you know? I mean, that's what they've been voting for, and you know, that's why there's so much fraud in California. There's hospice fraud, there's homeless fraud. There's so much non-profit organization fraud. It's ridiculous. There's so much voter fraud in California. There's so much fraud in the state of California. It's ridiculous. The amount of fraud in California, especially that's been allowed by Gavin Newsom, is crazy. The budget for homelessness. We can look up right now, Grok. What's the budget for homelessness in Cali? Recent statewide general $6.9 billion in 2022 to 2023. 2024 was $2.5 billion. 2025 was $1.5 billion. Proposed $500 million. So you're telling me in 2022 to 2023 the the budget for homelessness was $7 billion? And has homelessness gotten any better? Can one person in the comments show me anything about how homelessness has improved in California in any way, shape, or form? Please show me. Because we all know it hasn't. We all know homelessness in California has not improved. The amount of people moving out of California is still ridiculous. People cannot afford to live in California. It's going to have to get worse before it gets better in California. And I'll be honest, a lot of the politicians that are in office right now, they're just that boomer, older generation. So, you know, they've been kind of voting in the same people, you know, for years now, and hopefully it doesn't have to get worse in California for it to get better, but I think that is what's going to have to happen in California for it to get better. And they're trying to reduce it, obviously, because they know about the fraud that's going on. But imagine the tax money, $7 billion in tax money just for homelessness. Yeah, that's ridiculous. All right, so we're gonna watch a video. We're gonna go ahead and react to a video about